اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to a new episode of the SimplyRYQ Surah Al-Baqarah as well as SimplyRYQ Q&A, both brought to you by TVQ.Academy, your borderless school of the Quran. So how have you been, my good friends, my companions, in the journey of mastering the Quran through the SimplyRYQ series, projects, programs, courses, whatever you may want to call it? I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserves you and your loved ones in high level of human and good health. Allahumma ameen. May we continue to be among the companionship or within the companionship of the Quran in dunya and attain the intercession of the Quran in the hereafter. Allahumma ameen. So today, by Allah's will, we will be taking a new Q&A. A new Q&A which will represent session number 12, inshallah ta'ala, and we will be having one single item, and it reads: can we apply three options on emphasized noon or emphasized meme when we stop on them, similar to how we apply on mad al-arid li-al-sukun? Can we apply three options of on emphasized noon or emphasized meme when we stop on them, similar to how we apply it on mad al-arid li-al-sukun? All right, this question comes from someone who is trying to understand or to synchronize between mad al-arid li-sukun and also make more sense of how we apply noon and meme when they come in emphasize and we need to stop on them. To make things clearer, let's take examples and then from there learn together by Allah's will. So our first is to take a look at examples of this. Comes from Surah Al-Fatiha, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. This is a silent meme. We are stopping on it. And if we continue, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Now we are stopping on this. This becomes a silent noon. So whether this is noon or meme, and whether this is noon or meme, both of them we are stopping on them. And in both situations, we apply silence on them when we stop. However, the first one here, which is the meme, like I said, whether it is meme or noon, the first one here, this one, the silence status, its silence status is what? Is a permanent one. Whether we stop or we link, we will still apply silence to it. For example, we stop, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب. If we link it, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب. Clear? And the second one is the noon here, whether it is noon or meme, we are stopping on it. But because we stop on it, and we have agreed in many episodes that in the Quran, in Arabic, when we stop on any letter, unless it is extension, then we apply silence to that letter, regardless of what symbol it carries. So in this case, we have noon, it carries fatha, it is active by right. But when you stop on it, it becomes what? Silent. So this silence is temporal silence, arid. So this noon here, this is an example of silence. When we stop, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين, the silence takes place. But if we link it, then the silence will drop. An example of linking it, we are taking it from a previous verse, which over here, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. We stop, and therefore we apply silence to the meme. If we link it, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم, then that silence of the meme drops because we are linking. Now, the question is talking about emphasized when the noon or the meme has shadda. So now we have agreed or established a common ground, a common page that we stop on any letter, it becomes silent, whether that silence is permanent or whether that silence is what? Is temporal. Now, صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. This meme, it never changes, and before it, the letter before it is an active letter. Alayhim. So no argument, nothing at all. It is just normal. Whether the same thing you are going to do, whether you are linking or stopping. Whereby over here, you look at this. There is no any tajweed rule here by right. You look at here, over here. وَلَا-الضَّالِّينَ al-mustaqim. There is a tajweed rule. When you stop on a silent letter and it is preceded by an extension, then there is mad. This mad is called al-maddu al-arid. Al-maddu al-arid means coincidental. You may want to say accidental or temporal mad. So this mad happens because of what? Of sukun, because we stop. When any word qualifies for this, then you can apply three options of extension, three options of mad. That three options can be mad 2 points, 4 points, or 6 points. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Rata. How long we extend here is the same we apply here. One option. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. Option number 1, 2 points. Option number 2, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. So 4 points. Twice the amount of this. Option number 3 becomes what? 6 points, which is 3 times the amount of this. Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim. 6 points. And these are estimations. So, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, the rule which qualifies for us to make this is when we stop on a silent letter temporarily and it is preceded by an extension, and we agreed in our previous Q&A that extension is made up of ya, silent ya that comes after kasra, or waw, silent waw that comes after dhamma, or alif, silent alif that comes after fatha. So these are what qualifies to be extension. So when you have that, and then the letter after it, you are stopping on it, it becomes silent, then the mad becomes what they call mad al-arid li-al-sukun. Here we are not going to explain the ways of mad al-arid li-sukun in depth. Already we have explained it enough, inshallah ta'ala. Now, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim, غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Can you believe that we can have a few mad al-arid li-sukun in these 2 verses? اهدنا الصراط مد عارض للسكون. المستقيم عارض للسكون. صراط عارض للسكون. الذين عارض للسكون. المغضوب عارض للسكون. الضالين. The lean is عارض للسكون, not the ضالي. This is المد اللازم المثقل الكلمي. Now, similar to the question says, similar to how we apply al-mad al-arid li-sukun. So now that we have revised our mad al-arid li-sukun, let's take a look at emphasized noon or meme at the end of a word which we want to stop on. Here we go. قُلْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيَّ. This you can find it in our Surah al-Jinn episode, and this one also you can find it in our Surah al-Insan episode under the SimplyRYQ juz number 29. Now, قُلْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيَّ. This is how we stop in those episodes. أنه استمع نفر من الجن. Do you see this? This is an emphasized noon. Emphasized noon means it comes with shadda. Alright. فقالوا إنا سمعنا قرآنا عجبا. Here emphasized noon, here emphasized noon. And also here emphasized noon. Anna. Now when we connected this, we applied what is called Ibharul Ghunna. We produced a nasal sound from our nose. And if you block your nose, you should not be able to produce it. قل أوحي إلي أنه استمع نفر من الجن. And it's 2 points. Alright. So what qualifies for this ghunna is that any noon with shadda or any meme with shadda, you apply 2 points of nasal sound to it. Whether it is in the middle of the verse, in the middle of a word, or at the end of a word, you are stopping on it. So, قُلْ أُوحِيَ إِلَيَّ أَنَّهُ. What we do here is the same thing we do at here. مِنَ الْجِنِّ. The same thing we do here. فَقَالُوا إِنَّا. Now here, وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ ثَمَّ. We stopped in our episode for this particular verse in Surah Al-Insan. وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ ثَمَّ رَأَيْتَ نَعِيمًا وَمُلْكًا كَبِيرًا. Now, of course, the conventional way is to connect it. وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ ثَمَّ رَأَيْتَ نَعِيمًا وَمُلْكًا كَبِيرًا. But we suggested to break it into two. Open your Quran, reflect on the meaning, and then you will appreciate why we are doing this. Now, وَإِذَا رَأَيْتَ ثَمَّ رأيت نعيما وملكا كبيرا. Link. وإذا رأيت ثم رأيت نعيما وملكا كبيرا. Now the question is saying, when we stop here من الجن and ثم, can we or do we have the option of applying 3 options? In مد arid li-sukun we said المستقيم المستقيم المستقيم. So the question is asking, can we do the same to the noon, the emphasized noon which we stop on, and emphasized meme which we stop on? من الجن من الجن من الجن. No, it is not applicable because it doesn't qualify. Because it doesn't qualify the rule for mad al-arid li-al-sukun. Noon mushaddad or mim mushaddada, we only apply ghunna to it for 2 points only. Alright. Now, is there any possibility that we will have a noon or mim which we stop on and then it comes with mad before it? Yes, there is. Now, let's pay a visit to Surah Ar-Rahman, which we have not covered yet. We have verse number 37, 38, 39 to make comparison. Now, فَإِذَا انشَقَّتِ السَّمَاء. Of course, this is not arid li-sukun, yeah? فَكَانَتْ وَرْدَةً كَالدِّهَانِ. This is mad arid li-sukun. What we just explained in اهدنا الصراط المستقيم is applicable here. فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. This is mad arid li-sukun. فَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يُسْأَلُ عَنْ ذَنْبِهِ إِنسٌ وَلَا جَانٌّ. Now, you see what we just did? وَلَا جَانٌّ. Why do we do that? Because we have emphasized noon at the end here. If we link وَلَا جَانٌّ فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. So what have we done here now? This is not mad arid li-sukun. Wala jan is not mad arid li-sukun. The rule of mad arid li-sukun is the letter you stop on is a temporal what? Temporal silent preceded by a letter of extension, right? Here we stop on a letter which is emphasized. It's not temporal silent. It is emphasized, even though the emphasis is both become now silent and silent. But it is emphasized, shadda. We look at it as shadda. And it is preceded by a letter of extension. In the Tajwid, Juz Amma Practical Tajwid series, in Surah Al-Fatiha, whether it is in Juz Amma Practical Tajwid series or in SimplyRYQ Juz Amma, or even Surah Al-Fatiha, we have learned غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. You have extension li followed by a letter with emphasis. You extend it 6 points with no option. 6 points with no option, and that is called al-madul lazim al-muthaqqal al-kalimi. And we have explained that in Juz Amma Practical Tajwid series. So now, what we are doing here is we have two significant, every Tajwid rule is significant, two obvious Tajwid or major Tajwid rules to highlight here. Jan, this is already al-madul lazim al-muthaqqal, and it can be extended for 6 points only, no option, no 3, no 5, 7, anything. And then the noon, we apply the nasally to it, the ghunna to the noon here. Wala jan. So the estimation of the extension is 6 points. 6 points. And then the estimation of the noon, the shadda, the noon with shadda is 2 points. Therefore, it becomes what? 8 points altogether. Wala ja. 6 done. 2 now. So it becomes 8. And this particular one is totally different thing from the two examples we have given earlier on. The example of al-madul arid li-sukun and the example of an-nun al-mushaddada. Here we have al-mad, which is not arid li-sukun. We have mad, and then we have nun mushaddada combined in one place, and it's called al-maddu al-lazim. In a word, because there is shadda, it becomes al-muthaqqal. In a word, it becomes al-kalimi. All right. I hope this answers the question for this particular episode, which says, can we apply 3 options on emphasized noon or emphasized mim when we stop on them, similar to mad al-arid li-sukun? The answer is definitely we cannot do that, because it does not qualify to be extended, just like mad arid qualifies for that extensions with the 3 options. And noon al-mushaddada, when we stop on it, we only apply 2 points of ghunna. Not mad, it is ghunna. I hope this answers the question. Please do continue to let your questions come in, and then I hope we learn together by answering. I'm not sharing this only to teach, but subhanAllah, from the questions, I strengthen my knowledge, and I also refresh what I have learned and what I'm teaching others as well. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to subject us to righteousness at all times. Allahumma ameen. With that, we have come to the end of this episode of the SimplyRYQ Q&A. Until our next, I leave you in Allah's protection. See you in Jannah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم